right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Fit Tech Tips. Today, we're diving into the world of PowerPoint with none other than Matt Skriner from our marketing team. Matt wears about a dozen different hats around here, but one of his superpowers is making things look really good. When I need something to shine, I just call in Marketing Matt. Since you don't have your own Marketing Matt on speed dial, we're sharing him with you today. So quick disclaimer, he'll be switching between the desktop app, PowerPoint Live, and all sorts of other different views. So we may have to be patient while he finds the right window to share. As always, I'll share a link in the chat to a brief survey, so please take a moment to fill it out before you leave today. And I'll be monitoring the chat as well for any Q&A that we might have time for. So with that, get ready to pick up some slick tips and tricks to take your presentations to the next level. And with that, I'll say take it away, Matt.
Thanks so much, Mike. It's always a great intro. I'm going to share my screen here real quick. And this will just be the creation side of PowerPoint, kind of the back end as we call it. And just right from jump, I do want to point out that we, for longtime viewers of Tech Tips, you might have been around last year when we also did a PowerPoint presentation. So you don't have to have seen that presentation to get used to the tips we're going to cover today, but the things we covered in that presentation, we're not going to go over again. So if you think there was something major that we missed today, maybe there's a chance it's in this previous video from last year. We'll also send out a PDF that has a lot of these tips in it, and I'll have this link to the video so you don't have to copy down that big long link, but that's a link to our presentation from last year where we go over a lot of fun tips like master slide, how to manipulate icons and images that are included in PowerPoint or your own, and the morph transition. And maybe the morph transition will even be making a little bit of another appearance here today. But let's jump into what we got going here for you guys today. First thing we're going to cover is just some really quick and easy keyboard shortcuts for when you're creating a slideshow. So we're here in the creation mode. Easy one to know is just Control M, and these are all from the Windows desktop version. So if you're on the 365 in the web, they might not be the same. So just take note of that. But Control M will make a new slide. As you saw, I made a new one here when you push Control M. And one thing to note is that it will carry over the design kind of background aspects, or if you're using a master slide, see how this one brought over this green dot from this shortcuts for creating slide. But if I would do the same thing on the one with the red dot in the back and do Control M, it would make a new slide with the red dot. So do pay attention to that so you make sure you're creating a new slide of the kind that you want. We'll go ahead and delete those, keep them cleaned up a little bit. And if you wanted to bring over all the layout and the content to the text from this one, you'd push Control Shift D. Will duplicate the slide. That's what the D is for. And as you see now, we have two identical slides there, slide 3 and slide 4. They have all the same content. One of my favorite ones to use is this Control K to insert a hyperlink. So you either just click on the image you want to insert a hyperlink or highlight the text that you want and click Control K on your keyboard. That'll bring up the inserting hyperlink window. So then you can go through and hyperlink it to a file, to a web page, to an email address, whatever you want to link that to. It's easier just to remember that than to right click. If you're reviewing a slide and someone else is going to be reviewing for someone else and someone else needs to see your comments, you can push Control Alt M and that'll bring up the commenting window. So that's easier than it's buried up here somewhere in the toolbar to insert a new comment. So if you're someone who reviews a lot of content that other people are making at your organization, that's a good one to know. And then another one that's good for reviewing is Control F. That'll open up the find and replace dialog box. So if you have a really long PowerPoint presentation or something like that, and you don't remember exactly where in your presentation a slide about a certain topic is, if you push Control F, it'll bring up this box here on the right-hand side, and you can search, like I'll search for Cameo, because that's a feature we're going to cover coming up next, and it'll take you right to that, slide. And the last keyboard shortcut it'll show you here real quickly is page up, page down, and page up. Might be in different spots on your keyboard, but a lot of times it's by where your arrow keys are in the bottom right of it. And page down, we'll just go to the next slide very quickly, and page up, we'll go to the previous slide, so you don't have to grab your mouse and go over to the toolbar on the left, and just makes zipping through your slides a little faster. So next, we're going to go to the slide zoom feature. This is a great feature for if you're making a PowerPoint and you don't have to go in a set specific order. It kind of makes your presentations a little more dynamic, kind of more choose your own adventure is kind of how I like to think about it. So if you go up into your toolbar and go to Insert, you'll find this little guy over here called Zoom. So you can click on the caret and it'll give you a couple different options. We're just going to stick with Slide Zoom for now. And this will bring up another box, and it'll let you manually choose which slides that you want to add to this basically kind of table of contents is another way to think about it. So we'll just do 3 here just for easy use. We'll do shortcuts for presenting, Cameo, and we'll do Q&A. So you select those slides, click Insert right here in the bottom right, and it'll very beautifully just stack all the slides right on top of each other. So you're going to have to move them around a little bit and put them where you want to. But basically, it makes a little thumbnail of all those slides and has turned each of them into a link to that particular slide. So one thing you can do is you can also customize these images. So I'm just going to grab a random image from my desktop. So you can click, you can right click on the one you want to change. You go to change image in this pop-up menu, and then it'll give you 4 options. From a file is on your computer, stock images and online pictures and icons are things that are kind of built into PowerPoint. So I'll show you from a file, and then I'll show you icons as well. So we'll do from a file. We'll just go to, I think, documents. I have some pictures in there. Right. Shortcuts for creating. It's not the correct thumbnail for that, but just for an example purpose, it works. So it's a little easier to see than just the tiny thumbnail of the whole PowerPoint. So this makes it a little nicer looking. But a real fun one you can also do is icons. So PowerPoint has a bunch of icons built in that we like to use here a lot at FIT. So if you, again, right click, change image, and then click icons, and it'll open up all the different icons they have. So we'll just choose this cool looking alien head here. Click on him, click insert, and it'll change that to an alien head. So those are 3 different options. And then I'm gonna present my screen here so you can see what it actually looks like in presenter mode to use this slide zoom feature. So we'll go to slideshow and click present from the current slide. And let me see if I can swap the displays real quick. Okay, hopefully you all are seeing the actual slide presentation now. So you'll see this cool little transition that it does. I'll click on the alien head, and it does a fun little zoom in and kind of fade in animation. And then you can go and talk about whatever's contents on that slide. And if you push the left arrow key on your keyboard, you'll bounce right back to where you were before. And then you can choose another one. We'll click shortcuts for creating, and it zooms into there and jump back. So again, it's really just a fun way to kind of spice up how you move through your PowerPoints a little bit. And you can even get fancier with sections and things like that, but that would take up too much time. So feel free to explore that on your own. But for now, that's the basics of how that feature works. And since we're in presenter mode, we'll just stick in presenter mode, and I'll jump to shortcuts for presenting. These are a few of my favorite shortcuts to use while presenting. First one at the top is a great option for if you are concerned about accessibility for your presentations. If you know you have an audience that has people that might be hard of hearing, or if you really just want to have your presentations be accessible to the most people as possible. While you're presenting, just hit J on your keyboard, and it'll kind of zoom in a little bit and make some space on the bottom for some subtitles. And this is PowerPoint just doing it all on its own. It's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty dang good, as you can see. So it's again, a really great feature to improve the accessibility of your presentations. One thing to note is it does seem to be a little resource heavy on your machine. So if you're trying to do a lot of things at once while presenting or broadcasting video and having the subtitles going, sometimes it can cause your machine to chug along a little bit. So just watch out for that when you're using it. I'm going to turn them off now just so that that doesn't happen to me while I'm presenting. But that's a really fun feature. And you just hit J again to turn the feature off, just like you turned it on. If you want people to focus on what you're saying and not be able to look at content that's on your screen, you can hit the W key or the B key to set your screen to white and black. So just white makes it disappear real quick, but you don't have to completely exit out of your presentation to take the content off the screen. So then you just hit W again, and it brings it right back. And here's B going to black, and here's B going back to where you were. If you're someone who has like complicated diagrams possibly on your presentation, these pen and laser tools can be really, really useful. So if you push Control P, it basically turns your pen into your cursor into a little red pen. And then if you click and hold and drag around, you can draw things. Draw a little swirly. That's about the extent of my artistic ability there. And that'll stay on the slide and stay on the screen for as long as you want it. Pushing Control L will turn your cursor into a laser. So that just makes it a little easier for people to see, but it doesn't leave anything on the screen like the pen tool does. And then if you want to get rid of everything that's on the screen, just hit E. It'll erase everything you just drew. So those are some of my favorite shortcuts in there for presenting. Oh, and I forgot to mention that note there at the bottom. These shortcuts work when you're presenting locally. So like if you just have your device, your laptop or what have you connected to a TV and you're presenting in a room, these will work. Or if you're in Teams and just using the simple screen share feature, these shortcuts will work. But if you happen to be using PowerPoint Live, these do not work in there. But a lot of these features are kind of built into PowerPoint Live, the pen and laser in particular. So that's just one thing to note about these shortcuts. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to exit out of presenter mode because the next thing we want to do is showing you guys how Cameo works. Cameo is a feature I didn't really know much about before prepping for this presentation, but now that I know about it, I'm definitely going to be using it a lot more often. So again, a lot of fun things are in this Insert tab here in the top of your toolbar. Click Insert and then this Cameo. And you can either do all slides at once or just this slide. We're just going to stick to this slide for now. And what it does is it puts a camera feed directly on your presentation. You can shape this in a bunch of different ways, just like you could in any other shape that you're putting in. So the default is kind of a circle look without any kind of frame. So we'll just put this as a rectangle, and it's got a little black frame, excuse me. And we'll shrink that text a little bit. And then to see what the video feed is actually looking like, you click this icon here, this little camera icon, and there you go. Turned on my webcam, and there is the video feed live from my laptop. And when you're in presenting mode, so we'll go back to presenting mode here, slideshow from current slide. So this is a great feature if you're in Teams and you want to, let me swap my screen here so you guys can see the full screen view. Perfect. So this is a great feature if you're presenting in Teams or if you're presenting a kind of a combo in-person and virtual in Teams option, and you want people to be able to see the speaker's face, and they don't, but you also want to focus at the content at the same time, so they don't have to be looking into that tiny little screen in the corner of Teams or have a weird split screen view. This kind of puts it right there. And a good keyboard shortcut for this, if you want to only have it up temporarily, is you push Control K and the camera will disappear, and you just hit it again to bring it back real quickly. So it's pretty quick, and as you can see, it's hopefully not too choppy. So it's a really cool feature. And the Cameo element will even support transitions between slides. So I mentioned the morph slide lets you do some fun things with similar elements between slides. So I'm going to change slides here to the next slide and just watch how the camera changes. So it just slides over into the middle, changes shape, has a fun little green glow around it now. and you can just go bounce back and forth to see that again. So you can combine all these different features in PowerPoint to do some really cool, cool looking effects. So let's get out of presenter mode here. Again, sorry for all the jumping back and forth, but I'm going to show you guys a lot of stuff here. We'll go to the next slide, which is about the best way to stream video in Teams. If you're someone who uses Teams a lot and tries to share either internal videos or online videos, if you're anything like us here at FIT, you kind of sometimes will run into a lot of problems where there can be really choppy. And this is kind of the best solution we've found for this. Basically, the key is to embed the video in your PowerPoint, either with a link or as a file directly if you have it right on your computer. And the key really is to use the PowerPoint Live feature in Teams and not just use the screen sharing. When we use screen sharing, no matter how fast of an internet connection we're on, it doesn't seem to be as smooth as using the PowerPoint Live. It can get choppy, audio can get out of sync sometimes. So let's show, and hopefully this demo will work well. So I'm going to stop my simple screen sharing here, and I'm going to jump and click this little Present in Teams button up here, and hopefully that should launch us into PowerPoint Live mode. It'll take a little second to prepare the slides depending on how long your PowerPoint is. It'll take a few more minutes.
Looks
but
good.
That usually doesn't take too long. Okay, it looks like it's popped up for you all, so hopefully everyone is seeing this okay. And if not, we will have a recording afterwards sent out to everyone, so we'll definitely make sure everyone can see it well. So I'll hop down to the next slide here and to show you what this streaming video looks like now. There's the cameo again. Hello, everyone. So hopefully you're all seeing a very smooth, buttery smooth video of a tennis ball kind of bouncing up and down. And that again was this is just a stock video that's built into PowerPoint. We embedded it in there, just went to the slide like normal. And if it had audio, you'd be hearing the audio as well, but just for simplicity's sake, we just kept it to a video for today. So again, the key really is just to use the PowerPoint Live feature. The Present in Teams button that I showed is easy to use, but one thing to note is you already have to be in the Teams meeting that you want to present in and then click that button to make it really work well. Otherwise, you can go through just the Teams share menu when you're in Teams and you click share. If you scroll down past the screen option and the window option, you'll see a section in that pop-up menu for PowerPoint Live. And I'll again, in the one sheeter we'll send out after, we'll have some graphics and screenshots for you to really point out where that is. There's a lot of stuff in there, so it can be a little difficult to find sometimes, but that would be how you do it if you were already in the meeting and didn't have the PowerPoint opened up. And the last thing here, we'll get everyone on their way to a nice fun weekend, is how to easily turn a video into a GIF. So I'm going to get out of PowerPoint Live mode here, and I'm going to share my screen once more, and we'll see the back end side of things. Okay, it looks like the sharing's working. Okay, so there's a ton of different ways to turn videos into GIFs, and some of them might be easier than PowerPoint, but if you don't want to pick up a whole new tool like Canva or Photoshop or something like that, or there's all kind of websites out there where you can just upload your file to it, but the security on those can be a little worse than what we're hoping for, especially as an IT company. So we're not really encouraged to use those. This is a great way to keep everything on your local machine and not have to, learn a whole new graphics program to make a quick GIF of a video. And one thing that's really powerful is it also lets you use all of the other design features that you might know already in PowerPoint to kind of spice up your GIFs as well. We love to use GIFs here in presentations, out on social media, just like anybody else. So we'll show you how to do it. So this again is just a stock video that's built into Microsoft PowerPoint. Click play here and you'll see some coffee just being poured into beautiful. One thing you can do that's very nifty, especially for GIFs, is you can trim how much of this video plays. So it's even useful if you're just putting a video into a slide just to use it as is as well. So if you click on the element, select element, and then these two options will come up in the top here, video format and playback. The one we want to select here is playback. And then over here in the top left is this trim video button. And it is exactly what it sounds like. You'll drag the little green slider to pick where you want the video to start, and you'll drag the red one of where you want it to end. If you want to be super exact, you can type in exact timestamps in these boxes as well. So for GIFs, you usually don't want them to be super long because then the file size gets really big. So this is just trimming this 9 or 10-second video down to like 3.5 seconds. So you do that, click OK. So now back on the slide, this video is much shorter, as you can see. It's only that 3 or so seconds long. And then, as I mentioned before, you can add in any kind of things you want from PowerPoint. So let's just add in some word art here. So everybody's favorite little design thing. This cool little purple guy is all right. We'll just say, wake up. That's a good caption for a coffee GIF. And then you can rotate, make it bigger, do whatever you want. We'll just make this a little larger. Wrong button there, not yet. Click home, make the text a little bigger. Put it over there in the corner. And then the one thing you want to remember is that when you turn this thing to a GIF, it's just basically going to turn this whole slide into a GIF. So if you don't want to see, the title and everything, you just make the video as big as the slide, cover everything up, and there you go. So now here's kind of where the tricky parts come in. It's going to turn your entire presentation into a GIF. So if you have other slides that you don't want to be part of the GIF, you're going to need to hide them. Just go over here on your little toolbar on the left, right click and hide slide, and then hide anything after that you don't want to include in this GIF. Right click, hide slide. So now the only thing that's not hidden is this one slide with the coffee video and the GIF and the text there. Then you're going to go to File. You're going to go to Save a Copy. And that's going to bring up this kind of scary looking menu. But the part you want to focus on is up here at the top. If you click this where it has the file type, PowerPoint presentation is what it'll default to. But if you click that, it'll drop down just a couple dozen different file types you can use. So you could save, this video just as its own video out of there, just as a static image, as a JPEG or PNG. But the one we're looking for is animated GIF. So click animated GIF, name it whatever you want. We'll say coffee, wake up, and we'll save it. We'll scroll over here and we'll just save it locally so we don't have to worry about saving up to the cloud right now. So it's going to go into my pictures folder. So you click save, and depending on how long of a GIF you made, it might take a little longer to save, but we did a pretty short one, so it only took a couple seconds there. And then you basically just go to find where you saved it, and here it is. It's in our pictures folder. As you can see, it's a GIF. You can double click on it to play it to make sure it turned out right. And it's loading, and there you go. And so that's a quick, easy way, just in a couple minutes, to make a GIF. And if you get really into it with all the different PowerPoint animations and stuff are out there, you can really make some really complicated looking GIFs, and no one would know that you just did it in PowerPoint. So really powerful a tool there if you're someone who's posting a lot of things on social media, or someone who's looking to kind of enhance the graphics in your PowerPoints without getting out of PowerPoint. So that's all I got for everyone today. I hope you got some quality tips out of this. Again, we'll be following up with you with the recording after, likely early next week. So keep an eye on that in your inboxes. And thank you all for attending. And Mike, I'll throw it back to you.
That was awesome. All right, big thanks, Matt, for sharing your PowerPoint wizardry with us and surviving the screen sharing shuffle like a true pro. Good job. So hopefully everyone's walking away with some new tips and tricks and a little less fear of the present button. Until next time, keep those slides snazzy and your transition smooth. We'll see you at our next Tech Tips. Take care, everyone.